What's going on, traders? Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is August 2nd, 2021. It is the first day of the new trading month. So pretty cool stuff. I always say, the best time to turn over a new leaf in your trading is the first day of the new trading month. So today we're going to talk about price action in the indices. We're going to go under the hood and check out our sectors and style factors like we always do. Talk about some of my trades for the day, and I did have a lot of trading volume today. And then we'll wrap up some options order flow. Before we get into all that, quick risk disclaimer: nothing in the video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. All right, let's jump into today's recap. So this was some pretty nefarious price action in my opinion. Box scores for today: S&P 500 closed down 0.21% as measured by the SPY. Nasdaq QQQ finished up 0.01%. IWM small caps finished down 0.5%, and the Dow Jones finished down 0.32%. And really why I said, this was nefarious price action is because we essentially closed on the lows. To me, today was like, one of those days where you're boiling the frog slowly. We opened up, and then pretty much throughout the entire day, there was just like selling pressure under the surface. The breadth was the best of the day right at the open, and to me, that is never a good thing. We'll jump into our breadth in a second, but look at where we are technically. S&P 500 tested above this new monthly value area, and we fell into value throughout the trading session. We lost the 5-day exponential moving average, and we're not super extended from the 20-day, but it's getting to the point where it looks like a pretty logical conclusion that we're likely going to test the 20-day at some point in the next week. Keep in mind we have some of the worst seasonality this first week of August as well. So we open up on the highs, close on the lows. The VIX was up as well. Take a look at this. VIX finished up 6.69%, and the VVIX finished up plus 5.74%. And this was a nice green candle for the VVIX. So that's always a bit of a yellow flag as well. Let's flip over to our NASDAQ. NASDAQ closed down 0.05%. Same exact story. This one did not quite close on the lows. There were some dip buyers that came in at the end of the session. Yeah, so you can see those guys at the end. Well, it looks like, not really much. NASDAQ, you can see we're at the weekly point of control, and looks like we're slipping under that as well. So what I try to do is, we've been talking a lot in these recap videos about how you want to be most exposed to the market when you feel like you have the most edge. And to me, the market really is. It's almost like being in the wild. It's like being in a jungle, being in a battlefield, being in a sporting event. That's really how I see the market. And, with what happened today to me seemed like, you're a little deer in the forest or whatever you might be, and you just hear a twig snap. And how animals, they hear the twig snap and they're like, whoa, 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 what's going on? To me, that's how I perceive the market. This was like the twig snapping, and you just come to attention and you're like, what do I do? So you'll see how I reacted to the price action shortly. Russell down 0.55%. We lost the 20-day moving average and the 5-day EMA in the Russell. That's another big technical development. That's, we can't ignore that. Dow Jones, we also, we couldn't hold this monthly value area high, and we actually, we're at the bottom end of this consolidation range, and we tagged the 20-day simple moving average. See a little bit of weakness in the Dow. Let's jump over market breadth. Before we talk about market breadth, this is one of the Fed Board of Governors, Waller, Christopher Waller. He says September taper call may be warranted. Says go early and go fast on taper if jobs stay strong. And then we had another Fed speaker that came out and said, hey, if the next two jobs reports are strong, we should start tapering. So now we are definitely getting more definitive timelines on when this taper may occur. And to me, I see this as sort of like a ticking time bomb. We all know in 2018, I remember trading in 2018, and it was like a nightmare scenario. They tried tapering the balance sheet and raising rates, and it was such a nightmare. We ended up with a 20% correction in the market. And then the Fed just reversed course and they started expanding the balance sheet. So it was a complete joke. For people that were trading, in that time period, you essentially know this taper, nothing good is going to come of this. Like, there's no way they can taper and this system stay intact. So I don't know exactly what they're going to do. I don't think anybody knows. But to me, this is definitely just like, risk in a box. So let's see if they open the box or not. But yeah, it's definitely not good. It's one of those things too, like in terms of, being the last one on the dance floor. Like they always say that in markets, like you don't want to be the last one on the dance floor. It's almost like musical chairs, and you don't want to be the one that's left without a chair. So now that we're getting more of this tough talk, I'm definitely also like, keeping my ears perked up. Breadth, yeah, horrible breadth, or not horrible, but compared to the open, this is horrible. When we opened up, we were at like 90% breadth all around, and Dow Jones had horrible breadth. IWM, pretty bad as well. The Qs had the strongest breadth at 50%. Finviz heat map, this thing was completely green in the pre-market, and now it's, this thing looks bloody. Looks like they were selling, all over the place. So don't get me wrong, there were a bunch of names doing really special things today, like SQ just crushed it. There were several names that looked fantastic. Some of the semiconductors names, some of the Chinese equities. But there were also a lot of areas of weakness. So sectors, KWeb up 2.4%. That was our big winner for today. We had emerging market, internet and e-commerce up as well. And then our big losers, let's see what the big losers were. Energy, regional banks, and it's odd because these were very strong earlier in the day. This is a pretty intense reversal. And what else? Consumer staples, materials. Yeah, this was a flip-flop. Early in the day, all these were very strong. So that's like a rug pull and a half right there. Style factors, weakest on the day were high beta and cyclicals. And then the best performers were international value, probably a lot of those Chinese names included, and international momentum. But yeah, other than that, other than really like international, high div low vol was slightly positive. That's it. So let's look at, there were stocks doing some pretty special things. Not like I just go like full on, bias in the market square. This one had a fantastic day. Didn't close on the highs, but I think that's still okay. And now we're pretty much right at the top of this consolidation area. And check out this high relative volume. This is pretty incredible. So this is one I'll definitely be watching. Upstart, which is a name I'm long in the trend portfolio. I must say I have gotten shaken out a couple times trading this in my trading account though. But now it looks like it's finally becoming actionable, which is cool. High relative volume. Let's see. Yeah, 1.04 relative volume, not too big. And this as well, we're right at the top of this consolidation area, and this is our first strong close above these key moving averages since this shakeout over here on July 12th. So this stock, it's shaken out a bunch of times. Maybe this is when it finally starts moving. And then some of these Chinese names as well. Futu didn't close on the highs. This is a nice bottoming setup. I'm currently long Futu. DigitalOcean, really nice as well. This also did not close on the highs, but really strong relative volume. This, you definitely have to take note here. I already have a position on DigitalOcean, but that's, 15.1 relative volume. That's huge. Okay, so let's jump into some of my trades for the day. And I tried to just, be as prudent as possible. Once I saw things started looking a little bit precarious, the VVIX, all that, I started taking down some exposure, adding some put options. Every weekend I do a weekend market analysis video for all Pristine Capital members, and I also put out a weekend watch list. And really in doing that, I spend like pretty much like all of my Friday night doing that and like all of Saturday. And that's just getting me prepared for the week ahead and really getting everybody prepared. One thing I really wanted to instill and come into the week with is, you know, I want to have some long setups and some short setups at my fingertips, because with this week seasonality, you know, I don't know how this week is going to go. So for today, you know, execution, I took off my Nike diagonal call spread, took it off for $14.45. I had paid $8.02. So that was a really nice winner for me. That was, you know, 80-90% winner. I had on my watch list pins as a short setup, and that triggered very nicely. I got long some pins puts for September. SPY, I added some August 20th 435 puts as well. And this is really just, you know, a hedge in case we do get that weak seasonality, and in case, you know, maybe the jobs report comes out on Friday and it's an amazing jobs report, and then suddenly the market freaks out that, you know, the tapering is going to come quicker. So I just want to have some hedges. I had an AMD diagonal call spread. That one was a very nice winner too. AMD just, you know, continues to go off. AMD, yeah, this went vertical. I bought this, you know, through this pivot area, and, you know, really quick trade in about 3 days, making an over 100% return. So, you know, to me that wasn't bad at all. So I just booked that. Let's see, again, some text. Let me turn this off. Sorry. And then, so what else? Yeah, I took some Q's puts long, and then I had a lotto trade for Alibaba that I just decided to pull the risk in. So I closed it out for a small winner. Closed out for 147. I'd paid 139. I wanted to hold it through earnings, but I was like, you know what? I just don't even feel like taking the lotto risk. What happens if it's a good earnings report and the market's a little bit weak? I'll lose 100% of the money I invested. So I was like, I'm going to take that in. Just try to be prudent. For some common stock trades, so I got long NIO, and NIO, this was by far, you know, my favorite setup heading into today. I got long at $45.14. I also added, there was a dip within the first 2 hours of trade, and I added at $45.63. And NIO, as of right now, I'm in the money on those, on my common stock position, which is good. Let's check this out. Yeah, NIO pushed above all these key moving averages. It did hit some resistance at this value area high for the month, but I'm liking NIO. I have a nice tight risk on my setup, and, you know, in the money on day one, which is always good. And then I closed out 15% of my micro strategy for 638.34. I'd paid 613, spot 21, and this is just a small target for prudence. I'm still bullish on MicroStrategy, still bullish on cryptocurrency, but if the market gets a little bit weaker, you know, I'll be happy that I took a little target, and I can add to that later down the road, maybe at a cheaper price. So yeah, I was really just pulling in some risk, trying not to go crazy, chasing a bunch of stuff today. And this brings us back to our wisdom from a market wizard. This is from Mark Minervini's book, and I'm going to read this again. I've read this a couple times, but in the stock market, you have the luxury of being able to stay on the sidelines free of charge, observing and waiting for the most opportune moment to wager. You get to see the market's cards before you bet, free of charge. This is a wonderful advantage, yet few exploit it. And that's so true. That's why I just kept it in my slide deck. So I was like, you know, I think that's what most traders, you know, where you can get tripped up. You try to play every single hand. Whereas, you know, part of being a good trader is folding, you know, folding your hand. Something looks a little off. Okay, I fold. I'm going to sit this hand out. And we'll see what happens. Maybe tomorrow ends up being a bullish day, but, you know, I can't come into tomorrow's session and be like, oh yeah, you know, the momentum is to the upside. Like, not really. Okay, let's jump over to our options order flow. Let's check out what we had. Close this out. So let's take a look at our VigTech options race. I love this thing. Let's see. Yeah, Tesla's our flow leader. Tesla had a good day also. And then we had Amazon flow. That's kind of funny. I actually want to see what Amazon did today. AMD, new flow leader. Square coming in towards the top in terms of flow. I actually recommended for VigTech. I sent them a note because they're really cool. They're more of like an up-and-comer. They're always looking to get better. I said, hey, I would love to be able to just click one of these and then see all of the underlying flow rather than jumping back over to my matrix and searching for them. And yeah, they responded. They said they would be on it. I think they have like a September elevation and they would, consider putting that in. So pretty cool. But let's jump over to our Tradescape. Let's see. So we had a couple big ones here. Amazon, huge. We had Square like we saw earlier. Let's pull up. Let's see what Amazon did. Yeah, Amazon just kind of floundered. Pinterest is the one I took short. Yeah, this closed down 3%, so just more pain for the Pinterest bulls. And what else do we have in terms of flow? THC, Tesla. Wow, a lot of call flow for Tesla. Let's see what Tesla did. We'll break from there. Tesla, yeah, closed up, but this was also, sort of like a bull trap close in a way. I mean, still nice green candle, but just didn't close on the highs. This is definitely a name I want to keep watching, because now it's doing something a little bit different. Excuse me. Yeah, it's up over 700 now and broke above this pivot level. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. With that being said, that about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had an awesome trading session, and I will see you all tomorrow.